Alrighty, so in this video we're going to finally start looking at the slope-intercept form of a line. And I've talked about this in multiple other videos, so I liked this little very colorful image. So I know on your notes pages it's not going to be quite so colorful. Hopefully the grays and the blacks are kind of easy to match up. The blues and the greens might look pretty similar, but hopefully the orange or kind of yellowish color here looks pretty light. And then input is actually kind of outlined in pink. So but I know it's not going to be quite as easy to see on your papers. But this is something that we've been going over. We've been preparing for this for quite a while now. So we started with direct variation problems, and then we went into arithmetic problems. We went into proportional relationship problem, equivalent ratios. So we've been building up to this equation for quite some time. So for y, this is like our total, right? So our output, what did I get from this situation? The slope, this is something, and change is in here. I really like that because change, which is how we describe our slope. So m is represented for slope, or slope is represented by m. I said that backwards. So that's our vertical change compared to our horizontal change. So this, a lot of the time, is something per. We're changing. I know we did a problem in the last video that had to do with selling the number of tickets for a raffle. So each ticket cost $2. So when we wrote the equation, it was 2 times x, because it was $2 per ticket, and x represented the number of tickets. So the input x, that's going to be what we vary by, what we're inputting. And then the b in the equation is the y-intercept. This is our starting point. So it's the line where it crosses the y-axis, but I like to say starting point. Because sometimes, especially when we get to word problems, it's very easy to identify this is where I'm starting. And then the change for this one, and I know they use change a couple of times here, but that's what am I changing by per something, per item, per gallon, per ticket. It's going to be per something. So we can see over here, we have the slope-intercept form of a line. So y equals -2/3 x plus 4, and they even color-coded it based on this problem for us. So we have -2/3 in green, that's our slope. So this is our rise, and this is our run. Oh, and I just noticed they put that right down below. See? Rise and run. So, and they even said it's rise, that's how we say it, but it's really a drop because it's -2. We're going down. Instead of rising, we're really falling. And then x is going to be our x coordinate, and then we're adding 4 to that for our y-intercept. So remember, this is where we start when we graph. So here's our 0, 0 point. They're just not showing you the whole graph, so they just cut it off a little bit. So here's our 0, 0 point, and from here I'd go up to 4, and I'd place that dot. So you always start on your y-intercept when you're doing this, and then from the y-intercept you use your slope. So start here, then here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So you start here with your y-intercept. I have my point, and then I go to my slope. So I'm going to go down 2, right 3, down 2, right 3. It's down because it's negative, it's right because it's positive. Okay, so pay attention to those negatives and positives. It's telling you which direction to go. That's what those negatives and positives are doing. So that's how we get to the second point. And once I have 2 points, I can graph that line. All right, so let's go ahead and practice this. So they're going to just give us slope and intercept and have us just graph these 2 lines, but they're going to have us write an equation for it. So we have a slope of -4 and a y-intercept of -1. So start here. Start with -1, so I'm going to go from the center, I'm going to go down 1, down because it's negative, okay? And then my slope is -4. And if I have just an integer like this and I don't have a fraction, we put a 1 under it. All numbers have a 1 under them. We just don't write it like that because it would, start to look a little funky and confusing. But if I don't see a fraction, it's a 1. So I'm going to drop 4 because it's -4, and I'm going to run 1 to the right. So from here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1 to the right. And then I'm going to use my line tool here, change colors a little bit. So I'm going to connect these. And with yours, you don't have to worry quite so much about this. I'm going to have to do it twice because mine doesn't extend all the way for me the first time. So when you're doing this, you're just going to click on there's a little tool chart over here, and you're going to click on the line tool. It literally looks like a line, and you just go click, click, and it's going to snap a line for you. It's very quick and nice and easy. All right, so the equation, if I know what my slope is and I know what my y-intercept is, I'm just going to use this equation right here. And remember, y equals an x are going to stay y equals an x. What we're changing is the slope, the slope and the y-intercept. Those are the two pieces that we plug in to create a formula like this. So it's kind of the rule for this equation. So the slope is the -4. So I have -4 plus, so we'd say plus -1, but plus -1 really just means -1. Okay, I don't need to write plus -1. In fact, Alex would kind of, I think, come back at me. I don't think it would let me do plus -1 like that. It's going to make me just write either plus or minus. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the next one here. So I'm going to go back to, I'll stay on blue here for a moment. All right, so we have a slope and we have a y-intercept. So same exact idea. I'm going to start here. So start at my y-intercept. So I'm going to go to the center and I'm going to go up 5 because it's +5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my y-intercept. And then my slope. So this is my slope, 1/5. They told me that. So this is my rise and my run. So I'm going to go up 1 and right 5. So think of this very much so like a direction system. How do I get to where I'm going? So I'm going to go up 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is my 2 points. So now I'm going to connect them. Whoops, I forgot to click on my line tool. Like that. Something like that. And then go back. Boom. All right. So unclick the line tool so that we can kind of see that. All right. So now we have our line graph. So let's go ahead and write our equation. Remember, it's y equals, I'm going to skip a little bit and write x so that I can put my slope in here. So slope, that was 1/5. And the y-intercept was 5, so it's going to be +5. All right, so that was the beginning of slope-intercept form. Definitely make sure you're paying attention on this one. We are going to use this for a very long time in this class, in the next class, and even in the class after that. Slope-intercept form does not go away. This is a very important form of line. So go ahead and go on, Alex, and give this a try.